Hello. In this part of the tutorial, I want to talk to you about KitBashing. So here is a Thor sculpt that I've been working on, and what I want to do is show you how the head area here was sculpted first as an independent head. This made it much easier for me to get in and sculpt with symmetry and get the expression that I wanted and spend time on it without all the rest of the body in there. And then it was transferred to this mesh via ZProject and Project All. So that's what I really want to show you right now, is how we can go about and kit bash things. So we're going to start with an early version of Thor, which does not have the head kind of placed in there yet. This is just the head that the default soldier, or the default character had that I was using. But you can see, not a very godlike face. So I've gone in, sculpted this face, got that the way I wanted to. It's about 100,000 polygons, just a really quick sculpt. And now I'm going to go into Thor 17. I'm going to go to Subtools. I'm going to append that one. So append Thor face. Notice that Thor's face comes in way down here. So I'm going to select that subtool. I'm going to turn it, switch to Move, which is Transpose. I'm going to turn off my symmetry for this because I don't want to tear this model up. And just start to move it into position. Draw out the action line again. Rotate this to where it's fairly close. Turn transparency on so I can see how I'm doing. Check the angle of the face. However you are comfortable getting these guys lined up. Now the next thing I'm going to do is go in and scale this down. So it doesn't look like the center really is going to matter too much. But we can select the tip of that nose, go to Scale, and then scale that down. Move, get that back in position, and looks like it needs to be scaled down just a touch more. And so anytime I work with transpose, there's a lot of drawing and redrawing of this action line. That's just part of the nature of the transpose tool. So you just got to get comfortable with that. Now let me switch back to this Thor head, and I'm going to, with lasso on, press Control Shift, drag out a little selection area. There. It's going to make things a little easier. And then let me just make sure that the nose and the halfway point is lining up fairly well. So I have transparency on, so I'm looking through the model. And then maybe we go into rotate. Let's just test the angle here. Move that back a bit. There. So I'm just getting the brow and the mouth area kind of all lined up. And let's turn transparency off, and you can see that these two surfaces are intersecting each other. So now we are ready to move forward. We select the Thor part, the base head. We're going to turn symmetry off again. I'm going to first try ZProject, but ZProject may or may not work. So let's see. It's good to turn frame on with ZProject so that you can see any problems that arise. And notice how my Thor base mesh has edge loops. In this case, I'm not going to really concern myself with the edge loops, but I am going to do this at the highest subdivision level. So I'm going to press Alt, and so you can see this kind of stretching that it's giving us. It's not a positive thing. So in this case, ZProject is not going to work right. I will try one thing though. I'll drag out an action line and then return the action line until it disappears. Then go back into draw and try transpose again. Not working. So not a problem, because there's another tool that's very useful for this. And before I use it, I'm going to store a morph target. And then just press project all. So that's in the tool palette, subtool, project all. Alright, so let's see what kind of trouble we got in. We're going to turn Thor's face off. And we definitely got in some trouble in the mouth. We got in some trouble in the ear area, as well as the back of the head. So let's do a couple of things. Let's go into the morph brush and let's restore some areas. We can also just smooth this whole thing out here. I'm going to lower the subdivision level. And this could require a little bit of resculpting, which is definitely different than resculpting or sculpting an entire head with that kind of chaos. So first I'm just going to go through and I'm going to smooth all of this out, because that's going to be really simple to resculpt. Then switch back to the morph brush and let's just restore those ears to the way they were. Ears are always going to be a problem, and that's just because there are a lot of complex surface curvature going on there, and there's just not much that can be done with the math. It's a very complicated part of the model. So let's just restore that ear as much as possible. You can see, there's definitely some issues in there, but that's why we're the sculptor. That's why we get paid the big bucks. We're going to go in there and just quickly fix all of that. And, start to add some of the volume going from here. Now, as soon as I go up in my subdivision level, I'm going to encounter some problems like this again. So let's do that, just so you see all the problems that can arise. Another couple of things. That nose and mouth area, before we actually go up, let's fix that. So I'm going to turn frame on, and when I get areas like this, what I like to do is actually cut the model in half so that I can go into display properties, double, and look at the backside. And the backside is going to tell me a lot of what's going on there. So mouth area has some problems. Might need a little bit of resculpting around there. Okay, and I'm just making sure I get to the tip of those things to smooth them out. Did I color it? No, that was what came in with the mask. So back in with Damien's standard brush and get some of that line back in. Symmetry is no longer working, so I've got that off. Okay, go up in my subdivision again. And so yeah, some of the madness is returned. Back in with morph in the ear area. This ear looks like there's some surface here that needs some help. Sometimes the only way you can get at it is from the inside. since we had that problem, let's just get at this from the inside. And since we're doing this at the highest subdivision level, almost all of our problems will be solved at this point. But I'm going to just smooth this out at one lower subdivision level and then go back up. Some of these problems may be solved. ZBrush really likes you to get the edge of these vertices. So that's why it's really better for me to get inside, because it's too hard to get them from back there. Back in with the clay brush. My favorite brush. Okay, again, better to get at that from the inside. Okay, it's just compacting memory. Okay, let's go down a little subdivision level. I'm going to show the whole mesh. And there are more areas to clean up in the nose and the mouth, but this is the general process for transferring one mesh to another. Just go in, use ZProject first, and if that doesn't work, project all. Make sure that you keep morph targets in mind, because those are really going to help you fix any problem areas that you encounter.